Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building.
Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
You might do it. Keep Dingbat here, and welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast with Philly 501 Joey Shakes. Joey, what is happening, my man?
Not much, man. Just another week, another dollar, another day, waiting period. Just seeing things happen, man.
We are gonna quickly go into the slow season, where I really believe from like June, the last OTA, to training camp, I feel like it's the length of a whole nother all season. It just goes so slow, you know. Kaka Monsters here. What's going on? James, Mark, Rogan Dragon, RJ, Jamal, Leon Banks. What's happening? Vic, David. What's happening, everybody? Anybody I missed, I apologize. Rick Boyle's here. David. Man, a lot of people. Rock the Artist. Time for action. What's happening, man? Grunge Smurf. What is going on? Good to see you. Erie Eagle, Christine, Alex. Easy is his name. I like that. Daniel, Jacob, William, Fitness Warrior. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate it. And man, quite an interesting day today, Joey. Believe it or not. Not because there was a lot of news, but the Eagles held their their event for autism, which is a great thing that they do. But man, what I took out of that was a picture of one Jordan Davis that it looks like, dude, he looks like he's in great shape, and I'm gonna have to show everybody. We're gonna have to. Ravon, welcome to Dingbat Super Fans, man. Thank you so much for joining. Appreciate you. Now, let me show you guys this. This was Jordan Davis at the end of last year, right? There he is, my man, big guy. Too much eggnog. This is Jordan Davis today at the autism. My gosh, dude, look how slim he looks. Now, he lost weight from his rookie year going into second year. He slimmed down some. He looked like it came back during the year at the end of the year, but right there, Jordan Davis doesn't even have a gut. Like he's not even have a gut. I'm jealous. Like me and him are both supposed to lose 30 pounds by September 5th. He's already there.
Yeah, it looks really good. I mean, hopefully losing that much. I mean, hopefully he kept his leanness so his explosiveness won't be affected by it. And
dude, if he can be in shape and not run out of gas, he'll right there. That Jordan Davis right there, he is going to mother humping crush Josh Allen. Josh Allen ain't making it to the sideline on that play. Ain't no way. Dalton Gray, for 27 months. My man goes, "You the man, Denzel, go Birds." Thank you, man. And Jay Koch says, "I need no introduction. I run this mother humper." You do. There's no question. Jay Koch is the man. But man, what do you guys think about Jordan Davis? I mean, he looks, dude. If you blocked his head out, right, of that picture, and you said, "Whose body is that?" I would say that's Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks. I mean, I don't know how much he lost, but he looks.
At least it's showing.
He looks 320, like 320.
It's showing that he's taking it serious. I mean, that's what's showing, and this is a make it or break year for Jordan Davis, going back to his original position at the nose. So I mean, it all starts with him up front, and I'm hoping he plays really well.
So. He looks in great shape. I mean, he looks in great shape. I'm gonna have to contact him because I want to know what he's doing. But no, he looks good. I believe, and I've said this, we could talk about all the other players on defense. But if they're not getting anything from those defensive tackles, and they're not getting a push up the middle, I think everybody else is gonna have a hard time. If those guys are at the top of their game and taking the next step, it's gonna make everything easier for everybody else.
True.
I'm really proud of Jordan Davis the way he looks right now. Now he did look thinner going into last year from his rookie year, but by the end of the year, I think he started drinking eggnog Christmas season. And that was it. I mean, this looks dramatically different. Like, this looks like he's been working on conditioning, dude. Yeah. So that's, to me, a big sign that Jordan Davis and the Eagles are heading in the right direction, man.
Hopefully, definitely.
Bald Eagle Davis Super Chat goes, wow, it's incredible what hard work it could do. Good for Jordan. Yes. Absolutely. Ravon, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, love how the Eagles have been doing so far. I think we could go 15-2 this season if we execute right. I'll be honest with you. I don't believe that there's a team. If this team is playing at their best football, I don't believe anybody can beat them. I truly believe that. Any given Sunday, this team can beat anybody. But they gotta be playing their best football,
Yeah, the final product's got to show on the field. And, we said this last year, they probably could have beaten a lot of those teams last year. And they did. They had some, they didn't really have a dominating game offensively last year until our last 7 where we kind of just fell apart. So I think there is a lot of room. The final piece of the puzzle is the coaching. I mean, that's
right.
How are these practices going to look? Are they going to be more demanding? So we'll see.
Yeah, CJ says that's how he looked at the start of last year. Let's see how. Yeah, I don't think he was that thin though.
No,
he looked like he looks 40 pounds lighter there. He looked 20 pounds lighter last year. I mean, he doesn't. He still had a gut. He does not have a gut at all in that picture, dude. And it looks like he was riding a bike. But he's got Vic Fangio said it. The thing with a guy like that, a big guy, us big guys, you could get in shape, but you have to continue to do what it takes to keep it off because it could come back as quickly as he lost it. So what Jordan Davis does during the school year, during the season, when they're not in training camp and they're not camp and it's just regular time of year, he's got to keep it off, man. He's got to keep it off.
Mm-hmm. That'll be the end. I think coming out of college too, the issues that coming out of college, and there was not laziness, but he just didn't have a strong motor coming out of college. But I mean, all of it was there. All the flash was there. And as a first round pick, you want to hope that and he had a good. We got more out of him last year. We expected just him to be a good run stuffer this past year, and look what he did. The first quarter of the season. I mean, he was a pass rusher. He was getting pressure. I mean, we were shocked over that.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. You go back to the first 11 games. Go back and watch videos of not just me, but even a hater like Sills. People were praising Jordan Davis on his play. I mean, he had a good season early on. He looked like the real deal. I think he just ran out of gas because he wasn't conditioned well enough. Cliff the Man, he goes, we need 5 to 10 sacks from Jordan Davis. Look, I think 5.5 sacks, 6 sacks. I think he can give you that. I don't know if I ever see him 10, but 5, maybe. Yeah. Jay Koch says, only to the fans, I'm a peasant compared to the field. Oh, no. You're the legend, man. I ain't the legend. And if you guys haven't, you make sure you hit the like, make sure you subscribe. If you're in my channel, click the link. Go sub up Joey Shakes. If you don't hit the like button, if you don't subscribe, the self-destruct button has been activated. And my house will blow up during the stream, and I will be no longer in existence. So in order to prevent me from getting exploded, pause, no diddy, you got to hit that like, or I'm going to not be here tomorrow. Let's see. John Joe says, anyone know when Trey Turner is returning to the line? I do not.
No, dude.
KSF says, Brian Johnson Sirianni screwed over Hurts with play calling and schemes. I see 14-3 next year with a Super Bowl appearance. Hurts will throw over 4,200 yards, MVP Super Bowl winner 2025. I like it.
Sounds great.
I like it. Hey, I agree with you. I think those guys definitely screwed him up. Now, let me ask you, we haven't done a show since the schedule came out, did we?
No, we have not.
We have not. So So what are your thoughts on the schedule? Let me see if I might have it here. I have it here, but it's really there. It's not too bad. There's a schedule. What are your thoughts on the schedule? I can't believe I almost forgot to talk about this.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think as I took this out of like two different perspectives, one from like an Eagles fan as like a person going to games, and another perspective of like as from the Eagles' point of view of schematically, how does it look for them from beginning to end? And I think it's the bye week sucks. Obviously, it's a very early bye week, but I think, week 11, week 12, you have Thursday night to Sunday night. So that's like a little mini bye. You can rest some guys during that week. But between, at the end of the year, you're not really traveling to the West Coast or doing anything like that. So you're not traveling as much. And, you don't really have a gauntlet. You don't really have we had Miami and Buffalo and, KC and all these teams. You don't have that big gauntlet of games. The hardest opponent on the schedule, I mean, as on paper, is going to be Baltimore, really. And I think the Eagles, I think they could win out the schedule. I'm not saying undefeated or anything. I think they could win 14 games this year. And that's if everything else works. I mean, it doesn't scare me at all.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, I think the Baltimore game is the toughest game.
Mm-hmm.
I on the road. That Green Bay game is a giant what if game for me. How many times do we talk about Sirianni and preseason and playing these guys? You're not getting a home game, but it is a home game versus Green Bay. I think it's a tough game. I think the Eagles should win the game. But I think it's a tough game. I think if they beat Green Bay week 1, I think they start off 4-0. Now, if you start off 4-0, you're 4-0 in the conference. It's a huge way to start. And what I like about the schedule too, because I don't like the bye week where it is, but what I do like is if you look at the hardest games on the road, they're AFC opponents. They're non-conference opponents. So they don't weigh as much in tiebreaker situations and things like that too. Overall, I think we're going to be okay.
The first game is always a toss-up anyway, because the teams that should win normally don't win the first week because you're coming out of camp. You're not, you're just getting to the season, depending on how many guys on each organization, how many players are sitting out in preseason and not gelling together enough, or there's injuries or something like that. So it definitely takes into account.
More than any other game, I think, on the schedule, week 1 games are the most unpredictable because it's not necessarily who's the better team. It's who's ready to play.
Right.
If you look at the way Sirianni has done the preseason, I just think those guys need more reps, man.
They better.
King says, "What's up, Philly? What's up, Joey? I ordered 3 shirts from you guys. Love what you're doing with the business. Big supporter, man. Thank you, King.
Thanks, King.
Man. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, shirts should be on the way. They started going out this week. There's a lot of orders, so if you pre-ordered those, just be patient. They will get there, and our boys working hard at it. And you can still get them. Link is in the description. We haven't even gotten ours yet, so."
Right.
Definitely. Lewis Davis Super Chat goes, "Don't do it, Philly. Don't give me hope again, dude. Dude, this is the place of hope. I believe in hope, my friend." Nifty Davis Super Chat. Jordan Davis still looking like Big Mama.
It's not that bad. But.
No, he's looking good. Neil Watson says Phillies have already won over 30 games. They are 18 games over 500 something. Yeah, they look good. I don't have the Major League Baseball package, but I'm probably going to get it this summer, because I want to watch, especially after the All-Star game. I start watching baseball always like after the All-Star break. Sue Blaze, thank you for Super Chat. Goes, "What up, guys? What's going on, my man? How are you?" Let's see. MJ says, "I can't remember the last time the Eagles beat the Bengals in Cincinnati. That's going to be a tough game, too." And the weird thing about that game is, like, that the Cincinnati it's always weird games with them. Ties, high scoring. I just, it's a weird. Listen, the way I look at it is you're not going to win every game. As much as we like to joke about it and stuff, it just doesn't happen. So, this far back from the schedule, you kind of just got to try to take the logical, what looks like, they may or may not be favored.
Oh, here's another thing. Well,
yeah.
I asked myself too. I said, okay, well, if you have an early bye week, like how does Kellen Moore, at least we're talking like at least offensively, like how do you get through a season? You keep your high scoring offense on board every single game. Like how do you keep guys healthy all year? Now it's out of our control. Things just happen. But I think what you can control is distribution of the ball and not putting too much pressure on one player. And just like Jalen Hurts, they used too many QB runs early in the year last year. He got his knee hurt, and we kind of lost that element to the offense, which was his speed. We kind of lost it last year. And, maybe just going after one position all game. I think the distribution between, obviously not even only the wide receivers and tight ends, but these running backs are going to be in the passing game as well. And the pre-snap motion and just giving other guys opportunities, and I Smith at wide receiver 3 or something like that. Like give other guys opportunities. Don't just have the focal point at one position, in which you got to keep guys healthy all year because you don't have any breaks.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Randy says he's only in his 3rd year. There's a tweet out there saying that some of the best defensive tackles did become an all-pro until year 4. Give them until time will shine. Oh, I agree. Listen, I have been high on Jordan Davis since we drafted him. I agreed with that pick, even though Hamilton was a guy that we all liked. And I stand by it. The thing with Jordan Davis is, it was just so noticeable the first 2 years, while he's been on the Eagles. It's just so noticeable that when he's playing well, they're a different defense against the run, especially. They just are. Even his rookie year. But, what I saw him chase down Josh Allen, dude, not many defensive tackles could do that. He just has got to be conditions for the rigors of the season. If he is, he'll be fine,
Right.
What's
none.
What did I do?
No, it's not you. We'll get to it soon.
Radiation Butt, thank you for super chat. Goes, I only fear Sirianni and the coordinators. I know. I did a video. I haven't edited. I did a video yesterday on this on Nick Sirianni. So to me, he's the giant question mark. I think it's going to be very interesting what happens with Nick Sirianni, and it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of leash he's on. And I'll have that video up probably tomorrow, guys. So thank you for that super chat.
It's got to be.
RDX, what's that?
It's got to be a short leash. I mean, it looks like a short leash.
Well, let me ask you, 2 and 4, is he head coach of the Eagles?
If he has any control over this, offense, maybe there's a good chance.
What do you do if you go? Let's say you go to the NFC Championship game and lose, and Kellen Moore has a great year as a coordinator. Do you let him walk, or do you fire the coach that doesn't do anything anyways?
No, you make Kellen Moore the head coach, and you demote Sirianni to assistant head coach.
Wow. RDX says, I want Sidney, Mitchell, Cooper all on the field together at some point. Oh, I do too. Believe me. I know. Listen, I like Sidney Brown. I do, and I think what people say to me, why aren't you talking about Sidney Brown? The reason I don't talk more about Sidney Brown is because I don't know what he's going to be with this injury this year. I'm trying to give him a year to get healthy. But in terms of the future, no, he's going to have a big part on this team. Because when you use DeJean the way that I want to use him, the way we talk about the Swiss Army, there are times where he's got to play safety. So you need him. He's a big part of the future. I just think that we got to be realistic with Sidney Brown coming off the injury he's coming off with. It was late in the year, and I don't want to put unwanted pressure on him.
Right.
Bald Eagle Dave for super chat. My man goes, Joey, question for you. This mom just told me she really needs to get stretched. How do I tell her I didn't know any yoga studios? Just say, I don't know any yoga studios. Just say it. When somebody asks you something, just give them the direct answer back. No, that's all. Dominicio, thank you for super chat. He goes, forced turnovers and protecting the ball equals success. I agree. I mean, you don't turn over the ball. You don't turn over the ball. You usually win. You control the turnovers. You usually win. That's just always the way it's been.
True.
Lil G Griffith is a big fan of the Eagles 2024 season. Better Eagles win 14-3. I'm going to be an uncle. Congratulations, man, on being an uncle. I'm actually a brand new uncle today. So congratulations to my sister Maria. She just had a baby today. Just
congrats.
Baby today. I should actually show you the picture. I'm just a happy uncle. But she had a baby, and yeah, man, I just found out a few hours ago that she had a baby. So
that's awesome.
I'm not sure what the name is. I'm trying to. I texted them, but they didn't tell me back. So, yeah, I'm excited. So congratulations,
it's a
my
great
sister
thing,
and her husband on that, man. I'm an Uncle 500.
Uncle Philly.
Uncle Philly 500. How about that? I'm a nut. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, I mean. What the hell were we talking about? I totally forgot.
Yeah,
you forgot too.
Yeah, I don't even remember.
I totally lost track of my mind. Totally lost track. What the hell were we talking about?
I don't know if it was Sirianni. I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, the turnovers, and yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about Sirianni, and yeah, the turnovers obviously are a big part of it. And I don't know. I mean, when you hear things like like Bill Belichick talk to the Eagles about a head coaching job, I mean, if that's true, then they had to be literally thinking about getting rid of him this past season.
Yeah, no doubt.
Let's see here. I'm so far behind these chats. I apologize, guys. Let me catch up. Don't give me hope. Jordan Davis, Big Mama. Sewell Blaze, man. Dave for Super Chat. He goes, what's up, guys? What's going on? I don't know if I
you read that one.
Read that. Radiation Bot, Dave for Super Chat goes, I only fear Sirianni according. I definitely read that. That's how we got into that. This guy wants to know how to stretch out a woman. Something like that. Let me see. Leon Banks, man, thank you for super chat. He goes, thanks for putting Sills in his place yesterday. You know it. I speak for Joey and all Eagle fans. We hate him. Oh man, that's tough. He's a clown, and he has us 9-8. You carry Jacob. Well, thank you, man. I definitely don't agree with his views on that, but hey, I like the guy. He's always been good to me. So I have nothing bad to say except for I just disagree with his take on the Eagles. Let's see here. Rogue says, I think Jeffrey Lurie didn't want to fire Nick because it would look bad after Nick's deal runs out. They'll upgrade Kellen Moore to head coach. I've got that he's decided already. Well, what happens? What happens if it's like this year? When's Nick Sirianni's contract? Is it his last year of this year of his contract?
21, 22. Yeah, it should. That's 4 years. It
should
be.
Maybe they will. Maybe they will. I don't know. It's crazy. Philly 416 says the Eagle secondary will lead the league in interceptions. Book it. I think the Eagle secondary is going to be really good this year. And though it may not be like the number one ranked secondary this year, I think they're going to be fast. I think they're going to be all over the place. And I think in a few years, I think we definitely, you know what I mean? Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, post-June is going to be interesting. Like, if they make any moves or make any trades, Bradbury is definitely the number one guy right now. We're looking at if they are trying to move him, trade him, or just flat out release him and spread out that dead cap for a couple of years. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that makes a difference on, if Quinyon Mitchell's going to be sitting on the bench, unfortunately.
I don't believe that. I don't. I believe Bradbury's going, dude. But I don't think they're cutting him. I think it's going to be a trade. I do. Robert Powell says, me thinks Sirianni is here to save face for Lurie and not scare other future coaching candidates. There's a lot of truth to that, because you got to remember how the way everything ended with Doug, right? I mean, Doug won you a Super Bowl, then you went to playoffs. Even though you didn't get back to the Super Bowl, you missed 1 year, you missed the playoffs, and they fire him. And then you bring in Sirianni. What are you going to do? Have him go to the Super Bowl, and the next year he takes you to playoffs, and you don't fire him? So, you fire him, it's going to look like, hey, you guys will fire anybody on the spot. So, I can understand that.
I think the ultimatum with Doug was like, I think the front office wanted some new blood on the coaching staff, and Doug wanted to just promote everyone from within. He wanted to get Press Taylor as his OC. I forgot the DC, the right-hand man for Jim Schwartz. I forgot his name that worked with him. And I felt like they gave Nick almost the same ultimatum, like fire your coordinators, otherwise, you're done. And I think that's what happened. And it's already showing. The coordinators get hired. The coordinators are hiring. Nick's not hiring the assistant coaches. The coordinators are hiring the assistant coaches. The draft war room, Nick's not even like in the picture in the draft war room. He's sitting on the left side, all the way to the left side, out of camera position. Why is he sitting out of camera position? Why is he why is he involved and sitting near alert? It's just, it all connects. I think Sirianni is, I think he's making it look like, and saying it to the media, saying it to us, that he's doing things or he's involved, because so the media's off his back. I don't think he's doing anything, involved in anything.
I got a conspiracy theory, a Nick Sirianni conspiracy theory I talked about in my video. I'm gonna ask you about in a second. Go after yourself. So David goes, Belichick has done nothing before or since Brady. Here's the thing. The Belichick thing is wild, because the Eagles talked to him, and then you had the whole Tom Brady roast. Did you notice when he talked, he asked Hart if he has a chair for him in Philly? Did you see that part?
I don't think so. I watched the whole thing. I didn't.
Why would he ask that? It's like, I don't know how Belichick would coexist with Howie. I know that they're friends, but once you become business partners, I can't see Howie Roseman telling Bill Belichick the last 3 roster spots or this guy, this guy. I can't see him telling him, no, we're not drafting this guy that you like. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like Belichick would have to have a lot of control. And listen, yeah, he won a Super Bowls with Brady. I think Belichick's still a great coach. I do. But I just, the truth of the matter is, coaches that win Super Bowls in other cities don't go somewhere else and win a Super Bowl. It just doesn't happen. So I would stay away.
Well, on top of that too, is like Brady took pay cuts almost every year for them to make more moves, like every single year. So of course that will help dramatically. When how many Patriot players, how many of those guys go to other teams, and like they haven't been, none of them. I don't think there's been one Patriot. I can't even remember if any Patriots have really been successful anywhere else.
Right. Yeah. I'm trying to think too. Jersey boy David Super Chat goes, unfinished business this year. Absolutely. Got a favorable schedule. We're going 12-5, no less. NFL, NFC game. Go Birds. I agree. That to me is they've got to get to at least the NFC Championship game for me to be like, okay. Otherwise, I think Sirianni's got to go.
All you need is an average defense, really, because that's all. I mean, all you need is an average defense, and I think they can be better than what they are right now on paper if they put it all together. And I think Fangio has a plan, and that's great. And I think he has a lot of control over what he wants to do defensively. And Kellen Moore, it's I don't like. I'm saying I know he likes saying it's a collaborative effort, but I've never seen Kellen Moore with no control over an offense. I don't know how he. I don't know how you do that as a coordinator, how you just follow what the head coach says. I don't get that.
According to Cowboy fans, Kellen Moore only has control when they lose the game. Then when they win the game, it's all because of Dak Prescott, whatever. But all right, so here's what I want to ask you. Did you see this video they had where Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni are talking about, it's kind of like supposed to be like a fun video, and they're talking about which guy lies and stuff like that. Did you see that recent thing drop like the other day?
I don't know. I don't.
Well, it was a video. You got to check it out. When I watched it, to me, all I felt like is like, are they trying to build up Nick Sirianni publicly because he hasn't looked.
Yes, I even just you telling
and I totally believe that video
yes
was set up to do just that. If anybody's seen that video, tell me in the chat because I got that impression, you know.
If that's the case, then yeah. I mean, if I got to see it, but like if it's what you're saying is true, then yeah, I think they're just trying to make him look.
Dude. You got to see it, dude.
They're trying to make him look like he's a part of what they're doing, but he's not.
Yeah.
Like he's not a part of anything.
Like, which one's the lawyer, Howie or Nick? And they're like joking around. I'm like, there's something off about this to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's just a sense I got. Mr. President's 500. Mark Holmes was talking about you. Born on his point pocket. I told him to shut up. Mark Holmes is literally in a safe house in Vermont hiding from me. You know, he can't say anything. He bailed out of his own bet. It's over for him. He is not making it through this year. Like I think that guy's gonna have some mega meltdowns this year. Damon Knight, is this you or me? Let's see. Damon Knight, welcome to Dingbat super fans, man. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. We got over 600 people in the chat. If you guys are new, hit that like. Make sure you subscribe. If you're on my side channel, click the link. Sub up my man, Joey Shakes.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, Filioso, my man. Says, oh, what do you guys think about linebacker depth? I don't think they have much linebacker depth. I mean, I don't. But, I don't know what to expect from this kid from Vaughn from New Orleans. Like, it sounds like that Fangio really likes this guy. So maybe he'll come in and totally surprise us. But I mean, I don't think we have a lot of depth there, to be honest with you.
No, I don't. I mean, yeah, I think Vaughn was talked about first before anybody, so maybe he does like him. I think we're going to be shocked. I think we're going to be surprised, and I think it's less depth as we expect because it's Nakobe Dean going to stay healthy this offseason program. Because if he doesn't at this point, I don't know if I'm going to even roll with him next year or to promise that he'll come back and play well later on. And we really have to look at Devin White. We have to look at, or Orden Burks might be another good, backup veteran role as well. So, I mean, we just have to give it a chance and just see. We need to get into camp and we need to see what we have. I mean, until then, it's just going to.
My man Trotter will make an impact this year.
Yeah, I hope so.
I truly believe that. And the thing is Devin White to me, okay, like, everybody trashes the Eagle players all the time. Like Jalen Hurts is getting trashed by Emmanuel Acho, right? Now you got ESPN insider Graziano saying that the Saquon Barkley isn't going to make a bit of difference for the Eagles. It's like, how come all these guys, when they're free agents on another team or they're going to go to this team, that they're the greatest thing in the world. When the Eagles get them, all of a sudden they're not that good. Everybody was talking about, oh my gosh, if the Houston Texans get Saquon Barkley, then it's like, oh, he's not that good anyways. I'm sorry. It's just bullcrap, dude. It's utter bullcrap.
Or they're making an excuse that Kelsey's not here or some shit like that. They'll make an excuse.
Yeah. It's crazy. And I shout out to Bucky Brooks for actually talking good about a signing when he talked about Devin White, because I think Devin White is going to turn into the big maybe the biggest signing that we didn't count on, that people didn't, like the most underrated. Like, I think Devin White is coming in. I think he improves just by being here. He improves the linebacking group dramatically. And I think he's going to find his own form. I believe that kid still could play. It's not like he's 32 years old. He's 26 years old. Yeah, he's going to make a mark. I believe by like week 10, 11, think about November, everybody's going to be saying, we've got to sign Devin White back. We can't let him walk. And that's what our biggest fear is going to be, that he's going to walk. I truly believe that. K. Robinson says, Nick never had control. Absolutely, you're right. You're right about that. He said in his press conference before about asking how he then had to clear it up later. No, you're right. He never did. But, he did have control, I think, in terms of like some of the play calling. I think what happened with the defensive coordinator fire. I think some things like that. And I think he tried to get more control, or he was trying to basically play his cards after going to the Super Bowl, and it totally backfired on him. Like, why would he all of a sudden start calling the plays again? Like, I mean, he was way too involved in that playbook, you know?
You brought nothing from Shane Steichen's playbook over to the next year. Like, you got to keep like what you do well in house, and they totally like just redid the whole playbook. A matter of 10 plays on one play sheet. I mean, that's pretty much what it felt like all year. So.
Yeah, Calvin says, "My Lord, you think Nick Sirianni is a devil?" No, I mean, you're right. You're right. I'm not trying to kill him. I'm not. I'm not. But I just really have a lot of questions about where he's at, how he feels. But yeah, I mean, point taken. I'm not over.
But dude, he's got this fucking ego. Okay, that like your team is sinking at the end of the year, and it's bad press conference after bad, post press conference, whatever. But it's not even that, but how he acts on the field too. And I'm not saying like the crazy stuff, but it's like he's not even talking to his quarterbacks. There was no communication. And if Kenneth Gainwell is right on his podcast about saying, hey, between the coaching staff to the players, there was no connection at all. Like, it was a total disconnect. You didn't see how many times at the end of the year did you see Sirianni bring, Hurts to the side? I saw nothing. He had his arms crossed, walking up and down the sideline. He almost lost the locker room, or he lost it. He pretty much lost the locker room.
What do you think about the fact that so many players went to bat for him, though?
Well, yeah, the veteran guys
they really wanted him back. Like, yeah, we want him back. Did that surprise you at all?
No, I mean, you're going to have each other's, but you're not going to throw anybody under the bus. I don't think anybody hates him. Like, yeah, because there's two sides of when you're playing for a team. Like, when you look at a coach, like, you like the guy so much that you can't, whether things are going bad, I don't think they have anything wrong. I don't think they have anything against him, but maybe in the back of their minds they're like, yeah, they didn't really coach that well, but I like him as a person. But I mean, the respect is there. But coaches are supposed to back for their players, and players, don't want their coaches to get too much shit. So
right,
I
mean, I'm not rooting against Sirianni. I'm not going into the season going, can't wait till he fired. I can't wait till he fired. I don't feel like that with him. I just wonder, and I feel like, or at least the narrative that seems to be out there by the press is that Nick Sirianni is in Philly because the Eagles didn't want to look bad by firing him. That's the narrative that they've kind of alluded to if you read a lot of the press this all season. So it just makes you wonder where he really stands in my opinion.
I think part of it too, Jeffrey Lurie. I have to give a round of applause for Jeffrey Lurie, because he wants to know how the play. He's all into how the players feel. If he gets the sense that the players have given up on Nick, even at the end of the year, probably they have those end of the year meetings where they meet every player and kind of get that background of how did you feel about this and that. And I don't think a lot of players really hated Nick. I just think the coaching was messed up. We had too many young coaches. There was really nothing for Nick to do, as in giving the play calling to somebody else. Right. I mean, I don't know why you just didn't give it to Brian Johnson and let him, he worked with Steichen last year, was by his side 2 years ago. So I think Jeffrey Lurie, wanted to make a boatload of changes, which they did, to the coordinators, to the assistant coaching staff, and having a killer draft and a killer free agency, big re-signs, big lockups, and a lot of these players that we have. And, like now Nick might be on a short leash right now. I don't know, but he should, if the one thing you're good at is being a hands-off coach, be a hands-off coach. There's nothing wrong with that. I have nothing against that. As a motivational speaker or that's perfectly fine. But there's two sides of a head coach you always have to watch out for. The one is when you're winning, like how does your team, how do you uplift the guys and still keep guys on the right track mentally when you're winning? And he could do that. But when we were going down this slope at the end of the year,
right,
I wasn't impressed on how he handled this team at the end of the year. I'm sorry, but I had a bad taste in my mouth from last year. Still, even going into this offseason, being excited about all these moves, free agency, the draft, all of it. I haven't really thought about Nick. I've been thinking about Howie Roseman, what he's going to do, and he's done a fantastic job. Jeffrey Lurie's done a fantastic job. So, from that draft room, even the unscripted video, I didn't see Nick have his hand in any of these picks. He didn't vocally talk about any picks. I mean, even Vic Fangio was like, oh, yeah, I gave Howie Roseman like 7 players I want. He has the final say, and that's it. So Nick is nothing but a voice in a room, and that is it. That is it.
That's crazy. Bald Eagle, thank you for the super chat. Because I love to see Belichick and Fangio in the meeting pause. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I wonder if he would even keep him as defensive coordinator if he was to be the coach. Brad, did they were super chat because you all do realize that 90% of the offensive coaches are still Sirianni's guys, right? I got to go through it. Well, you got a new quarterback coach. You got a new you got the same offensive line coach. He's never going anywhere, right? The wide receiver coach is the same. Who else is different? So you have the new offensive coordinator and a new quarterback coach. To me, that's the most significant. You have a new quarterback coach,
yes,
and a new offensive coordinator.
I don't.
That's the one. I'm trying to figure out who else offensively left.
They kept the wide receiver coach. They kept
the wide receiver coach.
Yeah, Aaron Moorhead.
Yeah, and I think he's fine.
Yeah,
I think he's fine. But the two significant ones are the big deal because offensively, it seemed like there was some disconnect between the offensive coordinator and the quarterback coach. Did we even hear anything of the quarterback coach last year?
That was the rumor at the end of the year. The rumor was there was like someone close to Jalen Hurts that there was a big disconnect between Brian Johnson, Hurts, and Sirianni all going in different directions. And apparently, so every week the head coach meets with the quarterback every single week. So they have these meetings, and apparently, I've said this a million times on the stream, but yeah, Jalen Hurts was like, hey, we need to change the offense. We need intermediate passes. We need to change everything up. And it seemed like Nick was like, okay, no problem. And he just swept everything under the rug. He didn't change anything.
And I think that's why you got A.J. Brown where he was like, I'm not talking, I'm not saying anything. I don't think that was like he was after the media or anything. I think that the players went to the coaches and told them stuff, and they didn't listen. I really think that's what happened, and they tapped out. There was a video going around Twitter today, and it was showing the Eagle players on the sideline during the Arizona game, and it was just showing clips of them on the sideline, and it was 21-21, and you could see by the look on their face, the way they were on the sideline, they quit. It was over. They were done, and I think that was the coaches, and I think Nick is part of that on some level. Now you've got two new coordinators who are experienced, so I don't think the bleeding, and I don't think they knew. I think that was the big thing is they just didn't know how to stop the bleeding. They probably shouldn't have fired Desai, and then Patricia comes in and he decides to change way too much, and it just snowballs from there. It's very hard, in all reality, to look at those last half of the season and or those last 6 games and really evaluate anything. Because
you clinched the playoff berth. Like you had a playoff game. They were this unfocused the last 6, at the end of the season, and they still had a playoff game, and they still went to that playoff game and looked miserable. Like every time they faced adversity for a quick second, I felt like they just lost their momentum. They lost their sense of urgency, dead in the water. That's what it felt like. I mean, after that 49ers game, we were on stream. I was like, if they lose that Cowboys game, they're done. Like, it's a playoff game or not. Like, mentally, it's just not there anymore. And something's going on.
What about the Seattle game? You lose to Lock in overtime. Was it overtime? I can't remember overtime or not, but they lose to Seattle. Then you lose to Arizona and the Giants. I mean, come on. That just doesn't happen.
What it shows me is the players want to play. The players want to be in good positions to win football games. That Seattle game pissed me off probably the most because Patricia was like changing so much. And just think of it this way: like Desai was only giving up like 22 a game, 23 a game.
Right.
With Patricia was like 28 plus. It was crazy. So that Seattle game, the two things that really pissed me off in that game was you're leaving JSN off the line of scrimmage, against Bradbury on an island. Like, why would you do that? He's not a man-to-man corner, so why would you do that and press him up? Number two, that last pass that Jalen Hurts threw was for a flag. It wasn't even to make a play. So someone asked Jalen Hurts during the press conference, that underthrown ball to A.J. Brown to the right side all the way down the field, that was just to get a flag. They weren't even trying to get a reception, which really pisses me off that play was for a flag, and that was from the coaching staff play calling. It's
You know what frustrates me with the whole thing is that if the Eagles would have just went back to the running game and said, you know what, we're struggling right now, we're just going to start running the ball because we're going to keep our defense off the field, we're going to get our offensive rhythm, and we're just going to be a run first for these games, they would have won. They would have beat everybody.
How many times, Philly, that every time DeAndre Swift ran with the ball, it gave us like that big set, like that extra juice for that offense. And then second, third, and short, they take Swift out, they put Gainwell in, because your substitutions made your team so predictable, because when you put Gainwell in on a second, third, and short, it's not going to be a run. So they knew what was coming. That's why that cover zero blitz was beating us every single game. It's disgusting, dude. Disgusting.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is not to get too negative. I don't want everybody to start jumping off bridges right now, but it's too negative. Like everybody's going to be all depressed. But we've got new coaches. I don't think that'll happen again. I don't. But hopefully it was a lesson learned by Sirianni and stuff. I mean, if they just came out in Tampa game and started running the ball, they would have won the game. That's all they had to do. Just like they did in 21, his rookie year, when they went on a streak. The same thing. Death Row South, thank you for super chat. He goes, our record will be the same as 22. Couple teams to be a challenge, but the same schedule as 22. Acho was a bum as a player. He stunk as a player. That's true. No, I agree. I mean, I think especially if you could start 4-0. If you start 4-0 in your conference with then a bye week, I think you're right. I think that you're going to end up with the number one seed. I think there's a very good chance the Eagles could end up with the number one seed. To me, there's 4 tough teams in the conference: the Niners, the Eagles, the Lions, and the Packers. I think those are your top 4 teams. So that Packer game early is a huge game, tiebreaker wise. So we'll see. Foster Parks, thank you for super. I think it's important the Eagles get off to a very fast start. I do. Foster Parks says, if we make it to the NFC Championship game and our offense is elite, we should give the head coaching job to Kellen Moore so he stays. Quote, promote Nick to the front office position. That's what'll be interesting. Like, that's what I want to see if that'll happen. Because otherwise, I mean, do we really want Jalen Hurts to go and have to have a brand new coordinator yet again? Are we really ready to go down that route again with him?
It baffles my mind that you have the roster that you have, and let me tell you, you have the weapons that you have offensively, and if you keep doing this every single year, I mean, you can't even figure this shit out. I mean, I think going into the offseason, between free agency and the draft, all the coaching changes, I think Jeffrey Lurie and Howie did a really good job. I didn't expect that many changes within the coaching staff, but they hired a lot of experienced coaches, not new coaches, new assistants off of other teams that are getting their first shot at a positional job. You got guys that been in the NFL for years at coaching. So it's all going to come together. So
I mean, I liked it. They got the linebacker coach out of Tennessee, where he's had success. They got the defensive line coach, who was the defensive coordinator in Seattle. I like what they did coaching wise. I mean, the system is the system. I'm never going to be that thrilled with it, but at least they've got coaches with experience. Torteville says we need someone to step up in the pass rush department. If Huff can't handle the big increase in the workload, I think Milton Williams might be the surprise player this year. You could be right. Milton Williams looks like he's a guy who's ready to take the next step, and I do agree with you. I think this pass rush has to get home. Who are going to be your edge rushers, especially? I really want to see that, and I think a lot of it's going to be on the play, also of your interior guys. I think how they play will free up those other guys. So that's the big question for me on defense. How do you replace Hassan Reddick? Did Huff have just one really good year, or is he a guy who's getting better each year and he's finally arrived? That's going to be the question.
Yeah, hopefully with the workload that he has in the offseason program, and like he'll be ready to have those extra snaps, because it was only 43% of the snaps. I'm not denying that Bryce Huff doesn't have an elite ceiling, because man, like, watch some tape from him last year. Like, that man can rush. He's a bullet, man. I think Bryce Huff is going to be a really good player. That $17 million a year contract by next season, probably by 25, is going to look even better. I'm not going to say 10 sack season, but like I said, I think there's going to be a lot of surprises. I think linebacker will be a surprise. I think Bryce Huff might be a big surprise. He might do a lot better than we thought he was going to do. So it's going to wait.
If Bryce Huff goes out there and has 10 sacks or more, instantly, in my opinion, the Hassan Reddick trade becomes, even though you didn't get a lot right now for him, it instantly becomes, in my opinion, a really, really good move, because you've basically replaced that production with him. So, like, to me, that's what it's all about,
Yeah.
500, congratulations on becoming an Uncle Dingbat. You should ask Joey about visiting kids, since he had to visit so many with all the wives. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I've been an uncle for a long time, though. And everybody you got to give SMD Eagles, give her credit. I don't know what it's about, but she deserves it nonetheless. I can back that up. Philly 416 says, I had to choose between having beers or chewing aspirin from last season. Yeah, I know. My blood was so thin by the end of the year from all the aspirin I ingested. Dude, it was leaking out my pores. Damon Knight, thank you for super chat. Yo, Philly, I watched the whole segment with you and Dan Steele yesterday at 2 times speed. Please go back and watch it. Like, that's funny shit. I'll have to go watch it. But man, I tell you what, I hate the thumbnail that they get the worst picture of me, and it's just horrible. I look like I ate myself and my whole family, dude. I look gargantuan in that picture of that thumbnail. I hate that thumbnail. I can't even look at it. Did you see that thumbnail of when I was on Sills?
The same fucking picture every time.
No, this is a different one. It's like my face all closed up. I look like Jabba the Hutt with the hat on. It's bad. I can't take it. Let's see here. Josh Sweat should have had like 8 sacks last year, but it was like 2 intentional groundings, and Josh Sweat had 11, 22, 22. I think Sweat is low-key underrated. I like Josh Sweat. He's got to show up. I thought he was one of those guys, and I can't just blame him, but he was like the rest of the guys on defense, non-existent at the end of the year, and non-existent. So he needs to show. He needs to give us double-digit sacks. Somebody's got to pick up the slack for Reddick, dude. They just do. No,
that's definitely true. It's a big loss, but hopefully they replace it.
Yeah. Paul, thank you for super chat. Goes, Hurts throws for 4,000 yards plus shut Dan ass clown silly up. Listen, thank you for super chat. He's like, Jalen Hurts will never throw for 4,000 yards. I'm like, well, what did he throw for last year? 3,807. It's like, okay, you don't think he could throw an extra 120 yards? Come on. It's ridiculous. It's like 2 penalties that were called back. He could throw for 4,000 yards. Splendid says 500 is the 3rd season in a row where it's Giants, Cowboys, Thanksgiving, because I'm tired of it. The reason why they put the Cowboys and the Giants on Thanksgiving is because they don't want the Cowboys to lose on Thanksgiving. Like, it's always bad for the NFL when Cowboys lose on Thanksgiving. Always.
We forgot the most important thing that me and you were hoping to talk about for the schedule. So, there is no Thanksgiving game. There is no Christmas Eve game.
I know.
And there is no Christmas game. How about that? I thought we were playing on Christmas or Christmas Eve this year. That's what I thought.
I know. I mean, everything I was reading leading up to it was that the Eagles are going to be the new team that plays every Christmas, like the Cowboys and Lions on Thanksgiving. I was like, oh, no, please no. But yeah, no Thanksgiving, no Christmas Day, no Christmas Eve. Oh, my God, dude. I am going to be sitting there. And I am going to enjoy myself on the holidays. It's going to be great. And I'm going to watch the football game, and I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to have Christmas Story on. I'm going to have eggnog. It's going to be awesome, man. Santa's coming to town. It's going to be a great Christmas. SMD said, I typed, if they want to keep Kellen for continuity with Jalen and want to get rid of Sirianni, you can make up the title and give Sirianni a promotion. And that way it'll look, that you definitely deserve credit for that. You definitely deserve credit. What's your Sirianni conspiracy? My conspiracy is that video that came out with him and Howie, like having fun, joking around, calling each other liars, and like just joking. I believe that was a public stunt in order to change the image of Sirianni to make him look like he has some sort of control as a head coach, because I think he's been totally neutered. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, and he just didn't look happy to me at the combine. He didn't look happy to me during the draft. Like, I don't know. He just something seems off with him, you know? Like, I don't think he's happy. And I felt like watching that, like, did they put this out here right now on purpose to make it look like, he's okay? That's my theory. Bald Eagle Favor Super Chat goes, Joey, she said has yoga studio at her house. Joey, I don't know. What's he talking about?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Oh, man. Tim says 500. We played Dallas November 10th. My daughter's birthday. Go Birds. Oh, man. Well, hey, man, hopefully your daughter will get a great birthday present with the Eagles winning. So we shall see. No eggnog, you will gain 30 pounds back. I know. I'm just thinking like a little bit. Like if I could just have like a shot of eggnog like once a week.
Do you realistically have more than one cup of eggnog a day? I'm asking. I don't know.
Dude, look at this.
Is that a joke?
Cup. I have about 4 or 5 of these a day.
No,
I fill this whole way up, and then I put whipped cream, a little nutmeg. Yeah, sometimes I get vanilla ice cream, a scoop of it, and I put it in there so the ice cream melts to keep it cold.
That's a lot, dude.
Oh my God, I'm probably having 3,000-4,000 calories a day on just eggnog. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to have eggnog this year. I'll save it for like Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Like I'll have those 2 days, and I have to cut the rest out. Because I always gain weight during the holidays. I'm like, I don't know why I gain weight. Oh, yeah, you do. Yeah. No, I definitely crush it, dude. I should have eggnog sponsorships, but I have the theory that I look so bad from gaining so much weight, they don't want to think everybody's going to die of a heart attack from their eggnog, so they don't give me a sponsorship. But no, nobody sells more eggnog than me. You think Jordan Davis goes off this year? I think Jordan Davis, if he is in shape physically, which it looks like from the picture we started, this picture of him today, I think he's going to have a big year. I think he's going to have a Pro Bowl year. I think you'll have 2 Pro Bowlers at defensive tackle. I really do.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I agree. 500. I love how Mitchell can absolutely hit wide receivers into next year. I know. I think Mitchell's going to be awesome. I think it. Neil says you need a toilet sponsorship. What? Okay. I'm not the guy for a toilet sponsorship. I only go once a day. I'm sorry. I've trained myself. Lon says Texas boy. Texas boy. Yeah. I just can't believe how lean he looks. Yeah, I mean he looks really, really thin.
Yeah.
Brendan says, yo, Philly, do it, Philly. Make a video of you working out, getting in shape, Aspire Eagles. Okay. I will. Texas boy says, imagine being fat to play. I mean, listen, Jordan Davis is a big guy, anyways. I mean, naturally big. So, people will always say something about how big he looks, no matter what.
Technically, as an American, okay, in the United States, being over 160 pounds is technically fucking fat. So, pretty much. And nobody is under that, barely.
I would die at 160 pounds. There's no way I could be 160 pounds. Like I can't even go anything over 195. I get really, really weak. It's just too small for me. I need to be like my best weight. Like it was like 210, 215. Let's see here. Tim says, "Do you think the tush push will be better than with Saquon?" Well, I don't think Saquon will have anything to do with it. A lot of people think that because of Kelsey, it's not going to be the same. Which maybe they're right on some level. I don't know. We'll see. But I think Jalen pushing with off. I think they'll be fine. Even if it goes down a little bit, the success rate. What are we talking about? Like 80% over. It's still going to be over 80%. Yeah,
they'll still do it.
Yeah. Jay said, "Thank you for Super Chat." Goes, "That's great depth. We'll need this team end of the year. Quality players, especially DBs and O-line." I agree. And thank you for Super Chat.
Yeah, cuts will be tough. Cuts will be very tough this year.
Oh man. Yeah, it's going to be really well. Their 53-man roster is it's always different than what you think it's going to be, and it changes by the time they play week 1. Now, isn't this year the year? Aren't they switching it where it's like all the cuts come at one day?
Well, that happened last year. That happened last year as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, one day. All cuts.
Yeah. Yeah, Howie's big pimping. That's right. You get your big pimping Howie Roseman shirt. It's available for order right now. I don't know what I did with the whatchamacallit.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go. Big pimping Howie Roseman. His pimp hand is strong.
Definitely check it out.
Yep, definitely check it out. Let's see here. Splendid says 500 to brotherly shove relied on Dickerson, not Kelsey. I've heard that too. And I've heard Mulata. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I expect the Eagles to be very successful at it still. But, I mean, all right, even if Kelsey has a lot to do with it, they're still going to be successful at it. I just don't think it's a big problem is my point. I think it's still going to be something that we do all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Hujab says, Jordan Davis breakout year. I like it, man. I think so. Riva says, 500 shakes. Which defensive back is no longer with us by week 1 besides Trashberry? I think Avonte Maddox is gone. I'll say that. I think Maddox.
McPherson, maybe.
Yeah, McPherson might be out too. I'll say McPherson. Well, what about like Mekhi Gardner, a guy like you think he's going to make this team?
Yeah, Mekhi
he didn't
Gardner
play a lot anyways. I mean,
the guy from Clemson as well. What's his name that they gave him a lot of money? What was it, a year ago? The guy from the Clemson DB. I forgot his damn name.
Which guy? You're talking about? I forget his name too. I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah,
I mean, there's going to have to. I wouldn't be surprised if they trade a defensive back for like a late pick. There's got to be. I mean, there's enough young defensive backs on this team.
Goodrich,
really talented. Goodrich, yeah. Mario Goodrich might, and he played. He had some decent moments in preseason too. I thought, So I mean, they got some talent there. I just hope Eli Ricks can make this team. I want to keep Eli Ricks, man. I want him to continue to develop.
Mm-hmm.
Random fandom, David Super Chat goes, Jordan Davis looks like he's been working out with Philip Marach feeling an all-pro year. Who's Philip Macroach? My crotch. Oh, Philip my crotch. Feeling my crotch. You got me on that one. You got me. Yeah, I'm feeling all-pro year too. And thank you, Random Fandom. Let's see. Mark says, I love when the Phillies are doing well and we're waiting on the Eagles to get back at top of NFC. Yeah, when they're doing good, it makes it so much easier. I like when they're in the playoffs in October and you got football season too. So like during a week, you got all the playoff games and then you have the Eagles on Sunday. I love that.
Right.
Easy says, if you read the chat, you would see we are dogging on this Cowboys fan who is a Texas boy. He gets crushed weekly. I give him credit though. He continues to take a beating and he keeps coming back for more. Umbrella Man David Super goes, yo, what up, Big Pimpins? What's going on, my man?
What's up, man?
Let's see. Where did Wiggins go?
Baltimore.
Did he go to Baltimore? Is that where he went?
So. Yeah.
Then you know he'll be good. If he goes to Baltimore, he's gonna be good. You know? Frank says trade a defensive back for a linebacker. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. The linebackers, you know, I think, like I said, I think Devin White instantly makes your linebacking position better than it was a year ago. The big question mark is Nakobe Dean. If Nakobe Dean comes in and he's healthy and he plays, I think he could be decent. Like, I am not giving up on Nakobe Dean.
No.
I'm also not counting on Nakobe Dean either. I'm not penciling him going, oh, yeah, he's the guy. But I'm not giving up on him, you know. The kid was a Braun from New Orleans. Vic Fangio pointed him out on purpose at his press conference. The first linebacker he talked about was him. Why? That's what I want to know. What's his plan? How does he see him? You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I really, really want to know. Johnny Blaze of Madden Man, thank you for the super chat, man. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Let's see. Cliff says, think Smith and Brown can get 1,000 yards again and Barkley get 1,700 rushing without Goddard falling off. I think Barkley could get over 1,200 yards on the ground, 1,200 to 1,400, without those guys losing any yards in terms of 1,000. The question is going to be for me is what does Barkley do in the passing game? Because I want to see how much they use him in the passing game. I really think a lot of his touches are going to come in that passing game. The thing with Goddard is, somebody's is going to lose something there, and it's probably going to be Goddard. But Goddard's got to be healthy. He's got to show that he can be healthy. I expect both those guys to get 1,000 yards.
I think like Barkley could have like 1,400 all-purpose, like because I think he'll get a lot of receptions in the passing game as well. But I think he'll have like over 1,100 yards rushing, pretty easy. But with Dallas Goedert though, like he's 28 years old now, and you know he's got a couple years left on his deal, and he always getting hurt every single year, even if it's not his fault. But last year we couldn't find out like what we had in Albert O when they traded for him. Like they barely used him. It's like when Goddard got hurt, they kind of ignored the position, which they can't do. So they brought Albert O back. You have that CJ Osama, that 31-year-old tight end that was with the Bengals. See what he could do, and then Calcaterra. I mean, that's really all you got. So
yeah, I like Calcaterra, but he's got to stay healthy. He's another guy. Seems like he was banged up a lot as the year went on. I think people talk about 1,700 yards. Barkley 1,700 yards on the ground. I think Barkley's more of like 1,200 to 1,400 yards on the ground, but I really think he's another 400 yards in the air. So I think Barkley's a guy that I look at as more of a close to 2,000 all-purpose yards, not just the run. But I think that it will hurt Goddard on some level. I think it could. And Easy says, Philly Goddard used to get tough first downs, most effective. Yeah, I think that's where you'll see Goddard. Goddard will be used in that way, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Do you really get Saquon Barkley, bring him in, and then give him 12 touches the whole game? Or, the way they use Swift? That would be absurd. It's not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
that's what I'm saying though. Like even with how much is Kenneth Gainwell going to get? How are they going to use him? Because he's not a receiving back. They treated him like a dual threat back. They valued him more in what Swift should have done, more than what Gainwell was showing us. But I think even this year, like you have that Kendall Milton from Georgia coming in, like a really nice bruiser back that they could use for red zone. I mean, there's so many different combinations they can use. Even Johnny Wilson at wide receiver, like inside, they could use him for red zone because of 6'7", like ridiculous, dude. Good hands. Like I think they could. Kellen Moore could really surprise us with a lot of diversity in plays. Like I think,
and maybe that's why they haven't done more with the third wide receiver position, because they don't think it's going to get very many opportunities. I don't know, because to me that's another position I do worry about. But it's going to be interesting to see how they use Barkley and what the plan is. I think you have to use Barkley as a 3-down back, so you should see a lot less of Gainwell this year, and they need to use him in the passing game too. That would be nice. Random fan of Dave for Super Chat goes, I think Juergens might struggle early in away games, facing a lot of great defensive lines early as well. Packers, Nola, Tampa, Cleveland, Giants. Well, I mean, we will see. I mean, we got to give him time. He's not Kelsey, but when he did play his rookie year center, I thought he was really good. I mean, I thought he, for a rookie at the time, I thought he was really good. I think he's going to be a much better center than he was guard. And he wasn't necessarily a bad guard, Well,
the main thing, he's played. It's not like he redshirted last year and sat on the bench all year. Like he played a full season last year. He missed a couple, I think, a game or two. So that's the good thing about it.
And just think about that. I mean, and that's what goes on. We've talked about this. That's what you want. You want the young guys to play now, because imagine what year 2 is going to be if Mitchell has experience, if DeJean has experience, if Trotter Jr. has if these guys have experience. I mean, look at the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs high prolific offense. They lose Tyreek Hill. They still have their offense. The offense still carries them with Mahomes. But that defense, they started getting young players, started drafting players that were young. And those guys played and they made mistakes and they allowed things to happen. But look at at the end of the last year when they won the Super Bowl versus us, that defense started to play pretty good. And then look last year, I mean, their defense was pretty good for the most part. So I think you want to take advantage of that. I think you want those young guys to play. So, I hope they play them. George says Barkley is so good that it's easy to work with him because he can do it. Yeah, he definitely can. No doubt about it. I mean, if we go in a situation where it's at the end of the first half, Barkley 2 carries, I'm going to lose my mind. It can't happen like that. He's got to touch the ball. Splendid says, I predict Will Shipley will be used in the slot. That's interesting. I really think Anais Smith is going to be an interesting player to watch during training camp, because I think he could actually win that job as a third wide receiver. So we'll see. But maybe they will ship. I have no idea. We got a new coordinator, so it's we kind of got to wait and see what he's planning on doing and how he's planning on using these guys.
Right.
John Jones says, start both Mitchell and DeJean during preseason game. Yeah, they should play a lot of preseason. I don't think, out of all the years watching the Eagles, I don't know if I'm more fascinated with watching the backups and the rookies than watching the starter. I can't remember. I can't wait to watch I want to see the battle at the right guard. What about the third wide receiver position? I mean, the preseason's going to be actually very fun to watch this year, up until the fourth quarter when all the other players,
I agree. A lot of positions to watch this year, no doubt.
Yeah, it is. Concerned Cafe Patriot says Steen will be good at right guard. What are you talking about? I think you must be talking about somebody else, because we didn't mention Steen. I think Steen could be very good. I also think that the kid from Michigan, was it Keegan? He looks like he could possibly play.
Mekhi Becton. I mean, they're going to be putting him there.
Are they going to put him at guard? If they put him at guard, and oh my God, that could be very interesting. Whatever Stoutland does, I trust. But I think they've got their future right guard sitting on this roster. It's just a matter of who it will be.
Right.
Because I like Steen, but I don't think Steen is guaranteed the starting job.
No.
I think he's going to have to go earn it. Death Row South, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, for the next 5 years, anything besides the NFC Championship game is a failure with this offense, and defense is irrelevant in the NFL. No excuses. I wouldn't say defense is irrelevant, but it's not what it once was. That's for sure. I think with this schedule that they have, I think with the offense that they have, I mean, I don't know, man. I think that they should be able to get to the NFC Championship game. I think that's fair. I do.
Yeah, they have to.
I mean, you know, it's gonna be interesting. You know, let's see. Someone blocked John Doe. Why? What's he saying now? What's he saying? Let me see if I can find it. I think someone might have already done it. But if he says something that is worth blocking, do it. If he broke one of the main rules, then do it. If he didn't, then don't. I don't know what he said, so I don't know. It's a Philly thing. Says my standards: if the Eagles don't win Super Bowl 59, it's a failed season. Wow. So you're saying Super Bowl or bust? I mean, I get it. I won't go that far. I think NFC Championship game to me is a good rebound year for them after what happened. You know.
I mean, that's the issue too, because I feel like you're resetting every year because you don't have a competent coaching staff that doesn't know the combination of good coaching. Like, I just feel like it's a reset with too much of a good roster to reset yourself every year, and it's a low standard to not make a Super Bowl. Sure, I mean, I could see why someone says that. I mean, no doubt. But
right. Oh, I hear you. Let's see here. He didn't say anything to be blocked. Trolling is allowed. Yeah, he can troll. He's allowed to troll. Robert says we can't blitz or tackle because we are watching Joey and 500. We can't blitz or tackle because we're watching 500. I don't know what that. Do you know what that means?
No, I have no idea.
I would blitz like 50% of the time, so I'm a big believer in the blitz. You know what I mean? Dre Diesel, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, hey, Shakedown Killers, how you guys doing? What do you guys think about Warren Burks played behind two monsters on the 49ers? What are your thoughts on Burks, man?
Oh, he's just got experience. Like, he's had experience in off-ball coverage, and like he just has experience. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's a veteran player that has a good mindset. So I mean, it's just all about how they really use him in camp. So just an experienced player. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of people said that when he filled in, he played really, really well. So you know, I think a guy like him, guy like Vaughn, I think those are guys that could be like a diamond in the rough, somebody that we're not expecting that all of a sudden, like, boom, you know what I mean? I think it can happen.
Yeah.
Why does everyone, including you guys, see the Ravens and Bengals as automatically say we lose? Like we aren't good. We only good to lose to Green Bay and to Washington 15-2. Here's why, James. This is why. Because I agree with you. They play well. They could beat everybody on the schedule. But if we're going to start this far away from the season, if you're going to just start saying, well, no, I think that they beat Green Bay or not Green Bay, I think they beat Cincinnati, I think they beat Baltimore, then I don't see how you could give them any losses the whole year. You know, and to me, you got it this far away from the season. Yeah, you're right. They can beat anybody. But when you're predicting it, I think it's really hard to just assume that they're going or say that they're going to win those games. Where are you going to give them their loss? Like Green Bay, you're saying? Or
yeah.
Like it's hard. To me, if you're going to pick them to beat Baltimore, Cincinnati, I'm picking them to win every game because I think those are the hardest games. No, it's not going to turn out that way. We know it. But we're sitting here in May. I think it's very hard to just give those games without saying that they're going to be undefeated, is my point.
You're due a loss somewhere. We said last year, like when we got to the Miami game, we're like, oh, we're due a loss somewhere within this gauntlet, gonna happen, but they escaped it.
Eagles fan says, James is right. We should be feared instead of assuming we can't win tough. Nobody's assuming we can't win a tough game. But when you're predicting a schedule in May, like if you're gonna, you can't possibly think, it's not rational to think they're going undefeated, right? So if you're gonna say that Baltimore and Cincinnati are games that they're going to win, then where do the losses come from? Because every other game on that schedule, if they beat Baltimore, Cincinnati, they better beat those other teams. So how do you give them an upset? You're just picking a team and say, oh, I think this team might beat them.
Right.
It's just too hard this far off to really know. So you kind of just got to just say, all right, that's a really tough game. But, the reality is they could beat any of those teams. And if I was doing a schedule and I had to pick Cincinnati and the Bengals as wins this in May, I'm going to say they're undefeated because I don't think they lose anybody else.
Yeah, I agree.
Splenda says, do you see the report that from Gabe on Fangio likes bum? I didn't see the report, but I mean, we've heard this for about 2 or 3 weeks now that he does. Yeah. Dre Diesel says our Ravens solid defense signed Nate Wiggins and Derrick Henry going to go off. They're going to be good too. But no, I mean, I don't think that I don't think there's anybody on the schedule that the Eagles can't beat. That's just the thing. Mm-hmm. But it's just this far out. How do you know? It's just too hard. That's why doing really prediction record thing. It's really it's just for fun. It should not be taken serious in May.
No, and plus, even talk about even the Ravens, we don't face them to the end of the year. But how much time passes by? We don't know what type of team they're going to be by that time and what type of team we're going to be by that time. When do the Eagles go on a hot streak? Can they keep a hot streak? Do they get it? Sometimes being on fire too early is not a great thing, but, got to win games.
Yeah, I don't block. Let me, for those who are new, maybe don't know, I don't believe in blocking people because they say something I don't like. You only get blocked, for you come on, you say racist stuff, you're gone. You come on, you're threatening to hurt somebody, something like that, you're gone. You ruin things during a live stream on a reaction because you overt spam, you're gone. Otherwise, say what you want. This is America. You can say what you want. If John Doe wants to come on and say he thinks that Jalen Hurts is trash, he can say it all day. Doesn't mean I agree with him or listen. But I'm not blocking people for nonsense. The one thing I believe more than anything is free speech. And I am not blocking people for trolling. I'm just not. It just goes against everything I believe. Mm-hmm. So if you're new here, that's kind of my thing. If they say something racist, they say something that's a crime, if they avert spam on purpose, then block them. Otherwise, I ain't doing it.
I 100% agree with you.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much if you haven't blocked me, you're telling the truth. I haven't blocked you, Mark, and I would love to block Mark, believe me. I would love I would, but I wouldn't. No, he's all right. But, you got to handle the trolls. Frank says, hey, Philly, where did you get the hat? Oh, God. Hatland.com. Hatland.com. Let's see. Very democratic, you Philly. It's just, I don't know. It's been like that ever since here. And people that have been blocked on my channel, 99.9% of the time, I don't even know about it till later when I check. Dre Diesel says, my biggest concern is that it will take us a while to build chemistry with all the new players, coaches, and schemes. Well, that's why I'm hoping that, one, we're having more OTAs and mini camps, and two, they got to play in preseason, Joey. I think they got to play in preseason.
Yeah, and by that bye week 5, you better look solid. Last year, we're Brian Johnson needs more every game. We're Brian Johnson needs time, needs more time. For weeks we were saying that, but there's only a certain point where if they don't look solid by week 5, you got to look solid
Right.
by that time.
Right. So it says, love you guys, but stop it. We went 1-7 in the last 8 games. Anybody we can't beat, come on. I mean, but do you really
That's
think
last
that,
year,
like,
dude.
it's last year, you have new coaches, but, like, do you really think that was the Eagles? Like, how are we to judge this team? Are we supposed to judge them by that last stretch where you knew they just everybody tapped out? Something was wrong.
Yeah.
Or do you judge them by the Super Bowl run and then the 10-1 start on top of that? I mean, to me, that was more of the real Eagles than what we got in the last half of the season. That's why I say that, you know?
It gives credit to the certain players. It gives credit to, like Jalen Hurts gets credit for getting us out of games, fourth quarter stops, by the defensive line or something like that, making big stops. But at the end of the day, like, last year is last year. And unfortunately, if we didn't make any changes this year, then it'd be a different story, but in the moment, last year in that moment of our decline, sure, but the Eagles realistically didn't play well all year. The Eagles realistically for a few games got really lucky, really lucky from missed opportunities from other teams that could have scored on us easily, and either there were drops or there were just bad plays or missed field goal, whatever the case may be. We got lucky in a lot of games last year, but it doesn't take it away from the players. I mean,
we did, but it's just a weird, like, that last half of the season, it didn't feel like it just felt like they all quit. Like they were just going through the motion. I mean, maybe we're wrong. Maybe Sully, maybe you are right. Maybe we're looking at wrong, and we'll find out early. I think the first 4 games we'll know. I do.
Yeah.
But I mean, but to me, I really think that last epic collapse was an anomaly. I don't believe that was the real Eagles. I believe the year before with the run to the Super Bowl and then the 10-1 start, even though we did get lucky at some games, I feel like that was more of what we were.
Mm-hmm.
So, Sydney family, Dave for Super Chick goes 500. Don't move to Canada. No free speech. Yeah, I definitely won't. No time. No, it's not happening. Let's see here. Eagle players tapped out by paying fans. I say that is wrong. Jeffrey Lurie, I want my money back. I mean, yeah. I mean, they did. I mean, I don't know. I could tell you this. When we started certain games, like before we started certain games, just by the way the Eagles looked, I could tell they were losing the game. Like the Tampa Bay game, the first drive, you knew the game was over. Like you could see that this team they didn't have it, man.
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, listen, maybe we're wrong. We'll find out. If we're wrong, then Sirianni will be gone by week 4, week 5.
Maybe.
You guys need to do no fly zone. We got some things working, man. Just a little more time,
Yeah, we got stuff in the cooking.
George says coming back from 10 points 5 times can't just be luck. Other teams got lucky too. I agree. I mean, it's not all luck. I mean, like here's an example. Like it worked out for them, that Chiefs game. At the end, it was a Scantling wide open. He
dropped it.
Overthrew him.
Mm-hmm.
He dropped it. Yeah, he dropped it. I mean, things like that. But like you look at that Buffalo game. I mean, people remember at the end of that Buffalo game, Jalen Hurts, MVP odds to be the MVP. Jordan Davis, Pro Bowl. Everybody saying breakout game. 10-1. We don't quit. We're the comeback kids. We never down. We just keep coming. Pause. No diddy. But like all the stuff was how great we were. We don't stop. We're a fighter. And then the second half of the season is we didn't even or the second part after that 10-1 start. It's like they didn't act like they looked like they didn't even want to play.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
So I think that was the anomaly that collapse. I don't believe. I think the collapse happened. I think the Eagles panicked. They fired Desai, even though he wasn't the greatest coach. I think once the bleeding started, those coaches didn't have the experience to know what to do. Mm-hmm. And I think it just snowballed. And I think the players played a really tough schedule. I mean, you play in the Super Bowl, you don't have a huge all season, right? Then you have the schedule that they had. I mean, it was brutal. That was a brutal schedule. And I think all those things just snowballed. on itself.
And it shows you how much talent, like how he got out of so many games last year. It just tells you how much talent was on this team. And because the talent was only going to take us so far because the coaching just had to be better. We never adjusted offensively what defenses adjusted towards us. Like I felt like they just never really changed anything. At the end of the year, they tried to do some different things, putting Covey in on some play. Like they tried doing some things that just didn't work. But you have receivers like Quez Watkins on a bubble screen or a screen pass, and he's not running through the blocks. He's not running in between the blocks. He's running around the piles. Like, I don't know what these guys are doing at practice day in and day out, because right by the end of the year, Sidney Brown, a couple, Reed, a couple of guys were talking about, the practices, commenting on the practices, how they're just not up to par with what they do. You practice soft, you're going to play soft. There was just teams that were more prepared, and with no coaching, it was a no-win situation.
It is. It was true. Bald Eagle Davis Super Chat goes, silver line with week 5 bye. If stuff isn't working out in the first few weeks like last year, we can fix it. We can survive the first 4 weeks with talent. I agree. I hope we start 4-0. I mean, that's the best case scenario. Patrick Davis Super Chat, man, goes, I would be amazing to see this team get dominant and dominant blowout again. Yeah, I don't think we had a single dominant performance either. That's the other thing. How do you go 10-1 like that? It's crazy. It was a really weird year.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. DeAndre says other teams got lucky. We didn't capitalize as well. Kelsey, bad scraps, bad routes, wrong reads, defensive continuity. It went wrong when the play calling and personnel got predictable. It's true. Hopefully, if they take care of that stuff, I really think with the addition of Saquon Barkley, I feel like offensively nobody's going to be able to stop you, and you're going to score a lot of points. And then on defense, I think you've got to have a few things go your way. I think the defensive tackles have to play well. And I think like we talked about earlier, somebody's got to develop from that pass rushing group. Josh Sweat's got to return to form. And then you have to have Huff or Nolan Smith. Somebody's got to become that other pass rusher and make up for losing Reddick. I think if they get that, I think that their defense will be much better than it was a year ago. It won't be perfect, but it'll be better.
Like how many times even last year, like it's more than just even everything we've talked about, but like time of possession, like how many times the Eagles get the ball where they can put a team away, they could waste so much time on the clock where they run 3 stupid plays that just it's a wasted series, and then you give the other team a possibility to score, or you go downfield and just can't you can't score or get anything done. So it's just, I feel like when it came to time of possession, putting a team away offensively, clock management, I just think that it was just all bad, man. It was just inexperienced coaching, dude. It was just
right.
Bad.
Exactly. I agree. Does Covey win a roster spot? Yeah, I mean,
he should.
That's really interesting. You think? I mean, there's a lot of guys that could return. A lot. There's Rodgers, Gene, who else? Anaya Smith. Those guys are all returners. It's going to be interesting. I think his job is at stake, dude. I do.
Could be a possibility.
Yeah. And I like Covey. I like Crash Test. I think he's come a long way. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. Oh, John Doe, nobody's listening to you. Nobody cares about Kenny Pickett. Philly, what do you think of Tyler Hall? I think Tyler Hall is a guy, from what I was reading about. A lot of teams, a lot of people think that he's ready to be a guy that contributes and potentially fights for a starting job. I don't know if he makes the team now with the depth that we have.
Yeah,
I just don't know.
He's statistically he's good, so he plays nickel. He could play outside corner and he could play safety. So he's moved around with the Raiders a little bit, but every time he's only played like on top of injury with the Raiders. So he's played really good every opportunity he gets. He actually really shines, but he just hasn't played consistent games. That's like the only problem. So nickel's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
It is. Splenda says 500. I saw you on Twitter, Dingleberry. Oh, you saw on Twitter that Dingleberry has submitted McDonald's resume. Yeah, well, I mean, Jalen Rager is the manager there, I think. So, he, I don't know. I think with Bradbury, from what I was reading, is if they trade him after June 1st, I think it's $1.2 million in space. If they don't, then it's like I think they just break even or something like that. So you want to trade them and not cut them. Will somebody be willing to take him? Like, I would not be surprised to see Bradbury get moved for like a 7th round pick in 2026, 2027.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me, no.
Yeah. Jason, thank you for super chat, my man. He goes, no, players overcome bad coaching to get to 10-1. Other teams adjusted. Eagles coaching were zeros, and the players knew it. Lost the locker room. I agree. I think that's spot on. I think it's spot on. And that's why I think there was such a push to get experienced coordinators in here. So I don't think it's going to be the same thing again. I don't.
No, definitely not.
Yeah. Let's see here. Easy says, we won 11 games with middle school teachers as coaches. That shows how much talent we have. It did. I mean, dude, they went into Kansas City and won. They beat Buffalo. I mean, they were beating teams that people had said, no, there's no way they can win that game. And they ran out of gas, man. They just did. Bubba says, what shit Mark say about you about a game you guys were supposed to go on the 29th with him and Stilo, saying you called it off and you're trying to blame him? What? No. He wanted to do a game December. Well, he did. He wanted to do the Eagles-Cowboys game. And I said, well, let's see the dates and everything. And then he did a video saying that his wife was like, nah, you're not going to go. He's like, okay, I can't go. I'm not going. And then I said, well, then don't bother me about it later because you already said it. I'm not sitting here blaming anybody. He's the one that said he wasn't going to go. So he is doing it. This dude is in a safe house in Vermont. I'm not doing a thing where it's like, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm not going to go. I'm going to go. I'm going to not go. No, you said you weren't going. That's it. You're not going. Now, don't bother me. I have to go 3,000 miles. I have little kids to deal with. No, you gotta say you're going to do something, do it. Don't change your mind back and forth and then try to put it on me. He's a liar. He's scared and he ran off. He won't even go on Silio's show anymore because it was too tough. He's in a safe house in Vermont. He decided not to do it. So it's not on me at all. Listen, if I say I'm going to do something, I do it. I don't keep changing and then have people have to adjust accordingly. Once he says I'm not doing it, I'm not going, then I said, well, then the thing's off. Don't come at me later. That's all I said. Death Row South Davis Super Chat goes, prediction, Saquon Barkley, 1,600 yards, 21 touchdowns. 21 touchdowns? Holy crap.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Let's see. I mean, why would I like going to an Eagles game is easy for me. I'm an Eagle fan. It's not like a big deal. But I don't sit there and go, okay, you're not going. Okay, it's off, it's on and on. No, you said it. You're not going to go, so that's it. Don't bother me. I got too many other things in life going on to be worrying about that. Now he looks like a baby because he's hiding. He just got called out. He won't go on Dan. He won't go on Dan Silio's show anymore because he got crushed. So now he's sitting there trying to make it like I'm doing something. No, you ran into hiding. You said you didn't want to go. And, you can't bother me. So there's that, Bubba. Marco's a clown. No, it's just the way it is. Let's see. Went to grab beer. And John still screaming. Yeah, just ignore him. You can just block him so he won't see anything he does, you know. James says, don't sleep on Paris Campbell. He showed a lot on average Colts team when he messed up and chose the Giants. He's still young, explosive routes. What are your thoughts on Campbell?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's making the team. Like, yeah, I mean, really last year, I mean, who produced with the Giants anyway? Yeah, I think a year before that with the Colts, he had like over 600 yards. But he's a pure slot guy that you could throw to him in the backfield and do so many different things with him. I think he's a valued piece. But I want to see what Anaya Smith could do. I want to see what Johnny Wilson could do. Like, I want to give other guys opportunities. I know you have Devontae Parker here and stuff, so it really depends on how many receivers they're keeping. And you know, I like Paris Campbell. I think it's a solid pickup for depth, maybe. But I want to see this youth movement happen, man. I want to see what else we got. I mean, he's still young, but I want to see these other guys.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like his speed. He hasn't been consistent enough for me to count on him, but I mean, you know, I still think he's got some talent. You know, Devontae Parker, I worry about a little more because I just think from watching him in New England last year, he just looked like he lost a couple steps.
Yeah,
well, I don't see him as a slot. I see him as a backup outside. You know, that's kind of how I see it. You know, so I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Nathan says the Pittsburgh hype is hilarious. Like, yeah, they have elements. I was almost impressed. I remember Russell. Thing with Pittsburgh is Tomlin, like the guy always finds a way to win. Always finds a way to win. No doubt about it, you know. So we'll see. We shall see. Anyways, we're an hour and 40 minutes in. Holy crap, Joe! You gotta tell me when we're this far.
You good?
Is there anything else, man, we want to talk about before we get out here?
I think that's it, really. I mean, kind of went over everything between the schedule and pretty much, you know, what we're looking forward to for training camp, and we'll be talking about that for a bit. So, you know, June 4th to the 6th will be the next dates of mini camp, which we have back for the first time. And you know, we'll see what happens post June, man. We'll see June 1st what happens. Yep. You know, if any moves are made.
Exactly.
Not far off.
Yep. Patrick Davis Super Chat goes, can't wait for the Cowboys to slot CD in order to avoid Mitchell, only to be matched up against Dijon. Yeah, poor CeeDee Lamb. He's got to play on that pathetic team, and he wants money. They still haven't paid him. They haven't paid Prescott. They haven't paid Parsons, and everybody else is signing contracts. Dallas, I think Dallas is going to struggle this year. I do. You know. John Jones says, great job, Joey and Philly Double. Thank you, man.
Thanks,
appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right. Well, I guess with that, man, thank you everybody for being here, man. We really, really appreciate it. And we'll be back next week. I'll have a video up tomorrow. You got anything going on tomorrow?
Just a video, and that's really it. I mean, nothing much. I mean, you know, we'll see what happens tomorrow, if there's anything that happens move wise or, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's character. How many times? Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. He said it was off. So it's like you can't expect me to sit there and change because he just changes his mind from one day to the other. I got too many things going on here. So I told him, all right, no. And then he said, well, what about going to Dallas? I said, we'll talk about it. And that's where I left it. But you know, he got caught running from Cilio's show. He won't go in there anymore. He's in Arizona's safe house, and I'm not kidding. And so now he's trying to turn it around on me, but it wasn't me. It was on him. So it is what it is, you know. Anyways, guys, with that said, we are gonna get out of here. Appreciate each and every one of you guys, and we'll definitely see you guys tomorrow. Peace.
Yes, peace.
Oh shit! Dad, no!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay!
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak! That was on you, Dak!
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott! Trying to feed the CeeDee Lamb. Trying to feed the CeeDee Lamb. You tried to feed the CeeDee Lamb. You got to give it to CeeDee Lamb. God. It's over. It's over, Dak. Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking it. Cut it off. It's over.
Dude, what the fuck?
The Cooper! The flying
Oh my
Frenchman!
god! Oh my god!
C'est bon!
C'est
bon! I'm dizzy. We did it. We transformed the Philadelphia Eagles secondary. We now have a secondary that is going to be good for years to come. Because one, we got Quinyon Mitchell, but we also got the flying Frenchman, Cooper DeJean. That's right. The flying Frenchman, Cooper DeJean. C'est bon. Oh, here's another interception. That's right. Cooper DeJean is about to dominate the NFL. Can't wait to see him out on the field. And if you're like me and you thought this was a great move by the Eagles and you support this pick, then you definitely want to check out this shirt. The Cooper DeJean Flying Frenchman shirt. Look at this thing. You can see it in midair, flying through the air, transforming to an eagle. That's right. Cooper DeJean is here. Link is in the description. Get your shirt now while you can, because Cooper DeJean is about to take the Eagles to another level. Denzel Washington out.